All right. That's brilliant. Quick question. You said that once you discovered this stuff, you just absolutely knew, like you knew you had to dive in. Do you remember the moment when you were like, "Oh my gosh, this is life changing"? Because I've got two moments like that. I was wondering if you got one for you.
I mean, it was honestly pretty much the moment I discovered it, because the light bulb that went off in my head was that I could grow this like any other skill. And to some people that's common sense, but to 22-year-old Eric, 23-year-old Eric, that was just a total mind blower, because in my mind, you either had game or you didn't have game, or I would go out and I would run my game, but I never thought about like codifying what I was doing. I never thought about backward engineering it into the written form or drawing diagrams or coming up with systems. So that moment that I realized that I could take a scientific approach to my game and an artistic approach, not just the science, but the science and art mixed together, and I could focus on it like going to the gym and building muscles or training martial arts or whatever. That was a mind-blowing idea to me, because I was already kind of girl crazy. I know that most guys in their early 20s are thinking about girls a lot, but I was really girl crazy. I was really social. I was really just wanting to experience a lot of life, and I was wanting to date a lot and hook up, and like a lot of young 20 something year olds. So just that notion right there was just like, it blew me away.
All right. So for me, it was so um I must be 19 years old. I'm at home late at night. I'm on my PC. Desktop computer, not even a laptop. That's how long ago it was. Now, at that time of night, I could only have been looking at porn. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but what else was I looking at that time? Pop up just comes up and it goes, "Everything you know about women and dating is wrong." I was like, "Excuse me?" All right, let me have a look. My name's David D'Angelo, and I've got a book. This book is going to change your life. Now, I'm so convinced this book will change your life that I'm going to give you a free chapter. Read this chapter, then when your mind is blown, buy the book. My mind was blown by that chapter. For the life of me, I can't remember what was in it. I really can't. I can't remember what the hell it said, but I was like, oh my gosh. I bought the book. And the crazy thing is, the book was probably about $30 in today's money, maybe 40. I'm not sure, but I do know that I barely had that money in my account. So I had to like clean out two bank accounts to like scrape the money together to buy the book. I read it in one night and things have never been the same since. One thing I do remember, and this was when it was like, oh my gosh, this is the thing for me. He had some tip about something to do when you're with a woman. And again, I can't remember what it was. This was like 24 years ago now. But I remember being at a nightclub and I remember I'm talking to this girl and I did it. Whatever it was, I did it. That woman looked at me like I was the single sexiest man she'd ever seen in her life. I'd never had a girl look at me like that before. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then, yeah, here we are. Quarter of a century later, now I'm helping men to do the same thing.
Yeah, amazing, man, amazing. Yeah, I remember those first moments of trying a tactic or technique and having it work. And then, was it the tactic or technique, or was it our belief? I do believe that a lot of what I was doing was acting as a placebo, because I had such faith in what I was doing. I think that a lot of these women were more drawn to my confidence and the rock solid faith that I had when I was executing something. And not to say that all the techniques didn't work. I think that, like, if we're being realistic, back in those days, in the mid 2000s and early 2000s, right? I would say about 80 to 90% of the advice was only like partially true, or only like worked within given circumstances, and I would say 20% of it was like legit and worked with pretty good consistency. So if you executed everything you learned with rock solid faith, you're going to get a certain amount of wins from that, right? And then you'll dismiss a lot of your failures as anomalous. And so yeah, if I would do something, if it didn't work, I would think there was something wrong with the woman, or I didn't execute the technique properly. And little by little, I realized that, hey, these aren't absolute truths with a capital T, as Ross Jeffrey says, right? He always says that what I'm saying is not truth with a capital T, it's true with a lowercase t. Those were the days though, man, weren't they? I remember the magic when I first got into it, that high. You get high on this stuff almost, you know?